Action. All right, Uncle Reggie here at an unnamed beekeeping channel because I still have to. I'm rebranding right now. We're at the apiary at St. Francis of Assisi in Milwaukee, and we have actually. I did a video the other day of the bee pods here. I am just proudly standing in front of the inventor of said bee pod.
Charlie Keenan.
Charlie, what's your last name?
Keenan.
Charlie Keenan. And he's an old master beekeeper from back in the old school times, and I'm a big fan of Top Bar Hives. I was actually blessed with one of these beauties, a different style like that one over there, and they're kind of bearding a little bit out here. And what do we have for us today?
So what we're doing now is just going in for a quick snatch and grab, and we have this observation frame that I take in to do presentations, and I got a presentation a little bit later, so I got to jump into here. And what I'm doing, this is a full-size bee pod or vented top bar hive, and what's interesting about them is the idea of making ventilation. So if you look from the back side here down, right down here, you can see that along the floor you got this movable vent. So I can open and close ventilation as the bees need it. So what we're basically trying to do is beekeeping for the bees. And so what bees are good at is HVAC, and what any good HVAC person knows is you need intake and outlet. And so these bars have gaps between them, and the bees regulate that with propolis. So they'll open and close the gaps as they need to move air around, and then we look at the weather and open and close the big gaps down on the bottom to give them air to move around. And if we all get along, it seems to work. This one is full of honey on this end, and I don't have time to go through it. So what I'm going to do is I pulled this frame out the last time for this bar. So I'm going to try to work this knowing that when it comes to honey and top bar hives, they brace it against the walls because it's too heavy and the wax falls apart. This actually broke off of one. But in the bedrooms, they always leave enough room for mom to cut around the corner. So they're usually not attached to the walls. So it's not normal behavior for me to do this, but I'm doing it because I gotta. But you can pull a bar right out of the middle, and the risk is that if it doesn't work right, you break the bar, and that's a headache. The advantage is if I can get it out, then I got a little bit of room to work. And I gotta pull it out slow.
It's nice and warm today. That wax is going to be nice and soft.
We got ourselves a good example showing how they use honey on the top as insulation, and then they got a brood compartment here with some capped babies, and that looks like plenty of bees. And I don't see mom. I don't really want to take her on a field trip today, so I can drop all these girls right down into here. And then put the inner cover in and then the top cover to seal it. And then it's got these blockers here to be able to keep it in the dark while they're in transport.
Yeah.
And then it mimics the shape of the original vented top bar hive, which is designed as an education tool. So if you look at this, it's got the curvature, and then this is a bee's head. And a bee has, the big eyes on the side, and then the, antenna coming out, and then the teeth down here. But one of the most important things that a bee has that I always talk about are the ocellia. So a bee's got 5 eyes, and these 3 on top is part of the BPS system. They're GPS.
Yeah.
And these things triangulate with a map in the sky made from the polarized light that bounces off the sun. That's why bees only fly in the daytime, because the map's only up in the daytime. And so we can talk about bees looking at this without ever opening it. So if I got scared kids or people, we can talk about bees without even getting into it, and we can get them to go, what, BPS, GPS, let me see. And then you open the lid, and next thing you know, they're holding a bar in their hands, and they're like, I've never done this before.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of this kind of a system. we got other things here just for honey production, stuff like that. And I got yards all over the city. But that's kind of what we're all about, is beekeeping for the bees and advocacy. So I'm heading over to the Sanger Gardens, Sanger House Gardens, right near the Pfizer Forum. And they got a beautiful garden. It's open to the public, but today we're doing a benefit for the Mitchell Park domes, the big three dome, the boobs.
Right. I don't say, yeah. Lord forgive us. We are at the Assisi.
And so I'm bringing that over and doing a talk on bees,
Awesome.
and that's kind of today's work. And it's so cool to meet Randy,
Well,
and I just set him up with some of the first hives that I ever got, some 20 some odd years ago, that I inherited from a guy who had them from the UW Wisconsin beekeeper apiary from 80, 90 years ago. And they're 11 frame shallows that you stack up all the way so that you can mix and match as you're going, as opposed to these ones that have deeps and shallows. So I'm in the middle of just, I either lift a lot and do these deeps, or I deal with the shallows like those ones over there. But my heart's always with a top bar hive.
all right. Now, if there's any questions, can they? Do you have a business that you can get a hold of? Any contact
you want to
information?
look at bee evangelists. So we make believers out of people that are into bees, and then we convert some into bee disciples and spread the buzz about bees, right? So
That's very clever.
Look at beevangelist.org, beevangelist.org.
Okay. All right. Thank you. This is Charlie, and I'm Uncle Reggie over here, and we get stung,
Yeah, almost too much.
so you don't have to.